Hey there, Willowbrook. Thank you so much for doing daily devos with us. My name is Bobby Ann, and today we are in Psalm 23. Now, Psalm 23 is arguably the most famous psalm in the Bible. It starts with these words that you're probably familiar with. The Lord is my shepherd. That's right. The Lord is my shepherd. I perk up anytime the Bible communicates something that God tells us He is. Because it's very easy in our culture and with things that we've heard that we can get some convoluted ideas of who God is. Some of us think of God as a genie. Well, we just ask and He'll grant our wishes, or our God is a cosmic policeman looking to catch us doing something wrong, or God like Santa Claus. But that's not who God says He is. And when we find here in Psalm 23 who God says He is, I think we should pay attention. The Lord is my shepherd. Well, what does that mean? The Lord is my shepherd. Because if you're anything like me, I'm not spending my days in the pastures with animals. I've got a dog, but that's nothing like a sheep. So what is God trying to tell us when He communicates that He is our shepherd? I think one of the most important things that we need to get from God as our shepherd is that means that we are the sheep. And quite frankly, that can be really uncomfortable. Most of us don't want to think of ourselves as sheep. Because like an elephant's known for having a great memory, a dog's known for being really smart, a gorilla's known to function the most like a human being, a sheep is known for being stupid. Sheep have this tendency to just follow another sheep. If one walks off a cliff, the others just follow off of the cliff. And so when we're hearing that the Lord is my shepherd, and that means we are the sheep, that doesn't feel like the most uplifting word. But it also puts us in a place, a very humble place, to remember that if we are the sheep, then we need a shepherd. Because we have a tendency to follow after things that are untrue. We listen to voices that lead us in the wrong way. But if we remember that God is our shepherd, that He wants to protect us, He wants to guide us, He wants to lead us to good places, it puts us in a place not to beat us down, but a place of humility to remind us that we are safe when we are following the shepherd. I wanted to just remind you of a verse that in John chapter 10, where Jesus is actually speaking, and He again refers to Himself as the shepherd. But this is what He says in John chapter 10, verse 27. He said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me." I wanted to just offer a reminder to you today that God as our shepherd is speaking to you. He is guiding you if you will listen. And most of us, we find ourselves so bombarded with so many voices that God's voice is not always the loudest voice we hear. In fact, this is often the loudest voice we hear. We hear things coming from the media. We hear things coming from social media right on our phones. We hear things coming from our culture, people we work with, or maybe even some of the people that we live with. And the voices we hear are not voices guiding us in the right path. And that's why we need a shepherd. So for some of us, we need to turn this off. We need to put our phones away. We need to make sure that the loudest voice we hear is the voice from our good shepherd, because some of our anxious thoughts, some of our thoughts that are simply deceptive and untrue come from voices that are lying to us. And when we get in the Word, when we surround ourselves with voices that point us to the voice of our shepherd, that's when we take in, you know what, I'm a sheep that can easily follow an untruth, something that sounds good, something that maybe it even sounds bad, but we buy into and listen to and believe as truth. We can miss out on the voice of the one who is our shepherd, and he says, my sheep know my voice as a sheep. Are you getting in God's word? Are you spending time in some quiet so that you can recognize the voice of God? Because the shepherd tells us even in John 10, but also in Psalm 23, he would lay down his life for his sheep. He loves you. He protects you. He wants to guide you in good places, places that will restore you, places that will give you peace, places that will give you truth. I hope this will be an encouragement and a reminder for you today that sometimes we need to turn off the other voices so that we can know the voice of our good shepherd. I hope that you'll have a happy Wednesday.